What is up, everybody? Escape211 here, and today we're going to be looking at the Fusion 8, but I didn't want to just play stuff about it. I wanted to talk a little bit about it and show some test footage that I did. Now, obviously, with this being an 8 energy weapon, it will naturally get compared to the other assault weapons that we have. Now, I have the pulse cannon and I have the carbine 8s set up with it. So if we look at the stats of like the pulse cannon 8, it's actually, you know, not bad when we look at especially like the end stats that it has. The actual damage per magazine on this is pretty high. This is less than the carbine 8, but it's actually more than the Fusion 8, which is really interesting. It does have a faster reload time, and it's going to have actually more optimal as well as more max range than the Fusion cannon, which is pretty interesting in my opinion, because on paper this actually has some spots where the pulse cannon actually looks better than the Fusion cannon. All right, we're going to go over to the Fusion cannon though real quick, and you'll see the difference here and what will actually work in its favor. And then we'll look at the carbine too to compare that as well. But if we look at this, you'll see that the overall damage per magazine is less, about 2K less, but the per shot is way higher. All right, it's like 3 times almost as much per shot, because this fires a lot less. It's actually firing, I think, a little bit less. Yeah, it's half the RPMs, but less in the magazine. But like as shots hit, way more strength in those shots. It only has 10 meters less in its optimal range, so it's actually pretty close for the optimal range, but its max range is a lot less at 80 meters. All right, it does have a better hit cone ratio over time, so actually I think even though this number looks less, this should actually output more damage overall because you're missing less shots as you're, you know, sitting in that range, and because each shot hurts more, you'll actually, I think, be killing stuff faster and just have overall faster or better DPS, because it takes way less time to empty your clip with only 25 shots versus like 90 from the pulse cannons. And, you know, I'll show some test footage again in a minute, but we'll look at the carbines real quick. And obviously, as the legendary, this one should stand out, and it's going to. Its overall damage is going to be higher. Its damage per shot isn't as high, but it fires in bursts and all that kind of stuff. It works pretty well. It has a better reload speed and higher overall range. It also has a much smaller hit cone. This is much more accurate. Its optimal range is small though, so I mean that's one thing to note. But I did want to show some of the test footage that I did. I took all these to 5-star with no pilots and tested them here. So the pulse cannon is probably going to be one of the ones that is easiest to use at range. Very simple with the spray and pray. Also because its optimal range is high, it's going to be easy to hit stuff. I do think that it takes a little while to kill stuff, and again, this is where it shows the optimal range. So I feel like, you know, in that sense, if you want to play support fire, do damage, this is good. All right, if we move over to the Fusion 8, you'll see that it does not hit beyond 80 meters. So, you know, it has a small window of effectiveness, but when you do get in that effective window, you'll be able to kill stuff fast. This is an Ares. I wasn't able to take down with a Pulse, but I can with the Fusion 8. So it's pretty good there in that window. The carbines, of course, are going to be strong at range. They're going to be able to kill faster than the pulse cannon did, but there are going to be pockets where its range is not going to be as good, like when you're sidestepping across here. I do feel that the accuracy is harder to hit. If you alternate fire or lead your shots well, you can mitigate this some. I just didn't in this shot. And then, of course, when you get up close in that more, you know, ideal range, it will chew stuff up in that 30 meters, of course, right? So the carbines win in that aspect. But I did want to show a match that I played here with the Fusion 8 maxed out, just to see how it works in max play. So let's show that. All right, so I got the Mech Arena map again, and we're going to do the max fusion. I'm going to put my build up here. We're running it with the Eclipse, and I'm actually running the damage, legendary damage on this, and then the legendary range, just because this lacks the range. That's really, in my opinion, the only thing that puts it behind the pulse cannons at this point. I'm surprised. Okay. Gosh, those were not really hitting at all. All right. He wasn't even sidestepping that bad, and I still wasn't able to hit it. Maybe that was just a bad aim for me. We'll have to try it a little more. Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure how I exactly said it on the test footage stuff I had, because I don't know if I really mentioned this, but the idea, since I haven't put it together yet. Oh no! Oh, he's only got jabs though. All right, that's not so bad. All right, we'll get in this guy's face. Can't handle us. You can't take us. Yeah, so this weapon, I feel like its effectiveness in its pocket of like that sweet spot of like 40 to 50 meters range is where it will do well in terms of hitting, DPS, all that, better than like the pulse cannon or carbines. The carbines, of course, are going to have better close range. The pulse cannons and the carbines will do better at longer ranges, just because this can't hit as much. So pulse cannon is more like long range support fire. Carbines are just like, you know, killing stuff long range and up close. But the problem is that, like, carbines to get in your effective range, come on, I thought I was hitting that. All right, I thought this was like 100 meters. Okay, I guess the range on this is pretty crappy. Maybe I was better off doing the reload. But yeah, either way. So I couldn't really mitigate the range on this, but that 30 to 50 meters where it's going to be in its optimal range and out DPS both the carbines and the pulse cannons is where this sits well. I'm assuming that this weapon is going to be coming out on the progress path at some point. Right now, on my alt account that I have the progress path, we can see the fragment guns that are on the progress path but sit for like money, because it's a new weapon. So I'm assuming this will be on the progress path for money. Depending on where this goes as an epic, I would see where like this would be a good counterpart to get instead of the carbine 8s if you wanted to have like an assault weapon that has some decent damage without having to get carbines. Don't kill me. Don't kill me. Oh, okay, good. Oof. So I like that effectiveness for this. One thing I didn't say about this weapon, though, is I was bummed that this just became a vanilla assault weapon that sits in between carbines and pulse cannons, right? When this was first... Oh, he's got discs. He's not even shooting at me, though. Ooh, I got lucky there. All right, that's Ares with the stasis beam, so we can move... Oh, no, those are arcs. Those are arcs. All right, I'm going to pull back. I'm going to pull back. No, don't kill me. Oh, gosh. All right, this is a bad idea, but I'm going to sneak around this way. Oh, we got him frozen, our teammate. Come on, let's finish this off. Okay, they got it. That's fine. All right, as long as somebody killed them. Ooh, that was close. I might not make it through this one. Yeah. Oh, I was talking about the... when this was first introduced or talked about on the devlog, it said it was going to have some splash, which sounded really cool to have for an assault weapon, but it does not have that. I don't know if they tried it and that just wasn't like feasible, but I was bummed that this just became a very vanilla weapon. It's just one that fits their needs for the progress path, and you know, I guess that's okay. It's just not anything all that exciting. Ooh, we're gonna get this one. Yeah, there we go. I think that's it. No? Is there anything else? Oh yeah, there is one dude. Okay. So this is not a weapon I would suggest... Oh, he's not there. Where's he at? Dude, where did he go? Oh, way over there. This is not a weapon I would suggest getting. Oh, there we go. We got it. It's just... I mean, it doesn't make sense. Not even for someone to buy where they are. As well as like for end game, of course. It's just an 8 energy weapon. I do wonder if they're going to come out with other ones and then they're going to super buff it to make sure everyone buys it and then nerf it back down again, which they've started to do. So, you know, I don't want anyone to fall into that trap, but this is just one of those weapons that's just middle of the road. Probably going to fit well for the progress path, but not anything you need to buy. And it'll just be good for when it becomes for in-game currency on the progress path. But that's my thoughts on it and how it compares with these other weapons in that window. But you guys can let me know your thoughts on it, and we'll see you out there on the battlefield.